Oh, my dear ones, if I could give you a warm hug through this screen, I would. Living paycheck to paycheck can be exhausting, mentally, emotionally, and physically. I've been there, and so has my Tom. Back in our younger days, there were weeks when we'd sit at the kitchen table with more bills than money, wondering how we were going to make it work. But let me tell you something important. There's hope. You can break free from the paycheck to paycheck cycle. It won't happen overnight, and it won't be easy, but it is possible. Today, I want to share some wisdom that Tom and I learned the hard way. I'll tell you stories, give you practical tips, and hopefully inspire you to take those first steps toward a life of financial peace. Chapter 1. A story from the lean years. When Tom and I first got married, we didn't have much. Tom worked at the local mill, and I took on odd jobs from babysitting to sewing clothes. Every Friday, Tom would bring home his paycheck, and we'd divvy it up: rent, groceries, gas. By the time we were done, there was barely enough left for a cup of coffee. One month we were hit with an unexpected car repair. It wiped out what little savings we had and left us scrambling to pay the rent. I remember sitting on the bed crying and feeling like we'd never get ahead. But Tom took my hand and said, "Susie, we'll figure it out. We always do." And we did. Slowly but surely, we learned to budget, save, and make better choices with our money. Looking back, those tough times taught us resilience and discipline, lessons that helped us build the life we have today. Chapter 2. Understanding the paycheck to paycheck trap. Before we talk about solutions, let's take a moment to understand the problem. Living paycheck to paycheck often happens because of high expenses versus income, spending more than you earn or barely breaking even, lack of savings. Without a safety net, one unexpected expense can throw everything off. Debt. Credit cards, loans, and other debts can eat up a big chunk of your paycheck. Mindset. Sometimes we get stuck in a cycle of "I'll always be broke," which makes it hard to take action. The first step to breaking free is recognizing what's keeping you stuck. Chapter 3. Grandma's 5-Step Plan to Financial Freedom. Here's the plan Tom and I followed to get out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle. Simple, but it works if you stick with it. Step 1. Track every penny. The first time Tom and I sat down to track our expenses, it was a real eye-opener. We realized we were spending way too much on little things: coffee, snacks, and those bargains that weren't really bargains. Start by writing down everything you spend for a month. Use a notebook, a spreadsheet, or an app, whatever works for you. This will show you where your money is going and help you identify areas to cut back. Step 2. Create a budget that works for you. A budget isn't about restriction. It's about giving your money a purpose. Here's how Tom and I did it. List your income. Include all sources of money. List your expenses. Start with necessities like rent, utilities, groceries, and transportation. Prioritize. Allocate money to savings and debt payments before non-essential spending. Adjust as needed. A budget is a living document. Review it regularly and make changes as your situation evolves. Step 3. Build an emergency fund. Tom used to call our emergency fund our rainy day umbrella. Life is full of surprises, and having a little cushion can keep you from falling back into debt. Start small if you need to, aim for $500, then work up to 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Keep it in a separate account so you're not tempted to dip into it. Step 4. Pay down debt. Debt is like a ball and chain dragging you down. To break free, you need a plan. List your debts. Include the balance, interest rate, and minimum payment for each. Choose a strategy. Snowball method. Pay off the smallest debt first to build momentum. Avalanche method. Focus on the debt with the highest interest rate to save money in the long run. Stay consistent. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Tom and I used the snowball method, and I'll never forget the day we paid off our last credit card. It felt like a huge weight had been lifted. Step 5. Increase your income. Sometimes cutting expenses isn't enough. You also need to bring in more money. Tom took on overtime shifts, and I started baking pies to sell at the local market. Think about your skills and interests. Could you take on a side hustle, sell items you no longer need, or ask for a raise at work? Every little bit helps. Chapter 4. Overcoming emotional hurdles. Breaking the paycheck to paycheck cycle isn't just about numbers. It's also about mindset. Here are some tips to stay motivated. Celebrate small wins. Paid off a credit card? Saved your first $100? Celebrate. Stay positive. Remember, progress is progress no matter how small. Find support. Talk to friends or join a community of people with similar goals. Tom and I used to keep a jar on the counter labeled Freedom Fund. Every time we made progress, whether it was paying off a debt or saving a little extra, we'd drop a note in the jar. On tough days, we'd read those notes and remind ourselves how far we'd come. Chapter 5. Grandma's Golden Rules for Financial Peace. Let me share a few of the lessons Tom and I learned along the way. Live below your means. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep. Plan for the unexpected. Life will throw curveballs, be ready for them. Value experiences over things. Memories last longer than material possessions. Practice gratitude. Focus on what you have, not what you lack. Chapter 6. A vision for your future. Close your eyes for a moment and picture your life without the stress of living paycheck to paycheck. Imagine having savings, being debt-free, and being able to enjoy life without constantly worrying about money. That vision is possible, my dear ones. It won't happen overnight, but with patience, discipline, and a little faith, you can get there. Conclusion. Grandma Suzie's parting words. Living paycheck to paycheck isn't a life sentence. It's a season. And seasons change, my dears, especially when you take control and start making intentional choices with your money. Tom and I are living proof that it's possible to go from struggling to thriving. If we could do it, so can you. Remember, every small step you take today brings you closer to the financial freedom you deserve. With all my love and encouragement, Grandma Suzie. Thank you, my dears, for spending this time with me. Remember, life's journey is better when we walk it together. If these stories and reflections warmed your heart, be sure to subscribe and join me for more wisdom, comfort, and a little sprinkle of joy. Together, let's keep growing one story at a time. Until next time, stay safe, stay hopeful, and remember, you're never alone. Grandma loves you.